Europe is the most visited continent in the world, filled with beautiful places that draw over 750 million travelers each year. These places aren't just visually stunning, they offer some of the best travel experiences you won't find anywhere else. From the striking scenery of western Slovenia to the whitewashed towns of Santorini, Greece, here are the most beautiful places to visit in Europe. Make sure to subscribe to Discovery Destination for more travel videos like this. Scottish Highlands. The Scottish Highlands stretch across the northwest of Scotland, defined by towering mountains, wide valleys, and deep lochs. The region's rugged character gives it a timeless quality, and as you travel through, each stop feels connected to the next. Loch Ness is one of the most famous spots, not only because of the legend of Nessie, but also because of its sheer size. A boat ride across its waters makes you realize just how vast it is. On the shore, Urquhart Castle rises in ruins, offering a look into medieval Scotland. From here, the route west leads you toward the Isle of Skye. The island is filled with dramatic features like the Old Man of Storr and the Kirrarang, where trails wind through cliffs and strange rock shapes. At the ferry pools, the clear streams and waterfalls create a refreshing place to pause after a hike. Traveling south brings you into Glen Coe. Hiking trails take you deeper into the glen, with routes like the Hidden Valley offering quiet escapes. The Glen Coe Lochen provides easier walks along calm water. Near Fort William, Ben Nevis rises as the highest peak in the United Kingdom. Many hikers follow the pony track to reach its summit, while others simply admire its sheer size from below. Further along the west coast, Eilean Donan Castle stands at the meeting point of three lochs. Its position on a small tidal island gives it a dramatic setting, and the castle itself holds centuries of history. Close by, the Glenfinnan Viaduct curves across the valley with its 21 arches. It is impressive on its own, but the sight of the Jacobite steam train crossing it turns the moment into something unforgettable. The Highlands also hold quieter places for a more remote experience. The Billac Naba Road twists steeply across the Applecross Peninsula, rewarding drivers with wide views over mountains and sea. The Falls of Glomach, hidden in one of the most untouched parts of Scotland, require a long hike to reach, but the waterfall's height and power make the effort worthwhile. At the far north, Smoo Cave opens into a wide chamber shaped by both rivers and the sea. Inside, you find an underground waterfall and still pools that make the cave stand out as one of the region's most unique natural features. Away from the main roads, Glen Stathfar offers a peaceful alternative to the more popular valleys. With limits on daily entry by car, the glen stays calm, allowing you to walk or cycle through unspoiled hills and forests. Let's not forget Plockton, a small village on the shore of Loch Carron. Its stone cottages and sheltered bay give it a calm atmosphere, so walking along the waterfront makes it an inviting stop. By the way, my Travel on a Dime ebook shows you how to travel more for less. I'll share more about it later. The Dolomites. The Dolomites in northeastern Italy are a UNESCO World Heritage Site filled with sharp peaks, green valleys, and wide meadows. Each part of the mountains has its own character, so as you move from one place to another, the views and atmosphere change in surprising ways. Trescime di Lavaredo is the best place to start. These three peaks are the most famous symbol of the Dolomites, and the loop trail that circles their base gives you close views from every angle. Hiking here is one of the most memorable ways to explore the Dolomites. Not far from the peaks, Lago di Braes shows you a different side of the mountains. Its emerald green water sits under tall ridges, and a small wooden boathouse adds to the setting. The water stays calm and clear, and every step gives you a new perspective of the surrounding mountains. From the peaceful lake, the sharp lines of Seceda take you back into the dramatic scenery of the Dolomites. A cable car from Ortisei brings you to the top, where you could see jagged rock pinnacles stretching across the horizon. The views here are some of the most striking in the region. Moving on, Alpe di Siusi offers a complete contrast. Known as the largest high-altitude meadow in Europe, it spreads out with wide green fields and open skies. Since cars are not allowed during the day, you reach it by cable car, which helps keep the area calm and quiet once you arrive. Val di Funes continues the flow into more pastoral scenery. This valley is known for its open fields and two small churches. the Chiesetta di San Giovanni in Ranui, and the Santa Maddalena Church. Behind them, the Odle mountain group rises sharply, creating one of the most famous views in the Dolomites. The trail at Cinque Torri adds history to the experience. Here, 5 rock towers rise above the paths, drawing hikers and climbers. The area also served as a World War I site, and you can still explore trenches and bunkers along the route. Driving through the Dolomites connects many of these places, and the mountain passes are part of the adventure. Roads such as Passo Giao, Passo Pordoi, Passo Sella, and Passo Gardena curve through the peaks with wide views at every turn. Each pass gives you a new look at the valleys and cliffs. Near Trecime, the Catini di Misurina viewpoint offers a quieter alternative. A short walk from the Rifugio Auronzo car park brings you to a dramatic view of the Cadini spires. Another hidden gem is Lago di Sorapis, reached by a more challenging trail. The effort pays off when you see the milky blue water at the base of Mount Sorapis. The unusual color comes from glacial minerals, and with fewer crowds on the trail, it feels more open and calm. In Val Gardena, the Adolf Munkel Trail lets you walk at the base of the Geisler Peaks. This easy loop gives you close-up views of the cliffs and passes through forests and meadows. Passo delle Erbe is another stop that often goes unnoticed. From here, you see the isolated Sas de Putia Peak with wide views spreading in all directions. You don't need to hike far, just stopping at the pass gives you the full effect of the scenery. Villages like Corvara and Araba in Alta Badia give you a more laid-back base. These towns provide plenty of local restaurants and small hotels for a comfortable stay. Now, I know you're getting excited about all these amazing places to visit, but if you're eager to travel the world to explore new locations, cultures, foods, and much more, while taking a breather from your everyday life, you also know it can cost you quite a lot of money. With the Travel on a Dime ebook, you have the opportunity to make the most out of any place you visit without overspending on your travel budget. From finding the right flights and hotel deals to money-saving tips during your trip, it's the perfect guide to help you travel like a pro, ensuring you have a great experience while saving hundreds of dollars on travel. Get your copy at thediscoverydestination.com. That's thediscoverydestination.com. Use code DISCOVER5 to save $5 off your copy. Swiss Alps. The Swiss Alps stretch across much of Switzerland, shaping the country with snow-covered peaks, valleys, and clear lakes. They cover more than half the country and hold some of the most famous mountains in the world. The Jungfrau region is a good place to begin. This part of the Bernese Oberland is surrounded by tall mountains and wide valleys. Here, you can take the Jungfraujoch Railway up to the top of Europe, the highest train station on the continent. At the top, you'll see the Sphinx Observatory and walk through the Ice Palace carved into a glacier. From here, it's easy to continue on to Zermatt, a car-free village that sits at the base of the Matterhorn. The mountain's sharp shape makes it one of the most recognizable peaks in the world. You can ride the Gornergrat Railway for wide views of both the Matterhorn and the Gorner Glacier. Another way to experience the Alps is by train. The Bernina Express is one of the most scenic rail journeys in Europe, recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Route. The changing scenery keeps the ride engaging from start to finish. The lakes in the Alps are just as striking, as the peaks like Lake Geneva, shaped like a crescent. It's surrounded by mountains and is the largest alpine lake in Europe. Here, you can take a boat cruise to enjoy the views or stop at Château de Chillon, a medieval castle that sits on a small island near the shore. Lake Lucerne offers a different experience with its mountain backdrop and historic city. From here, you can ride the world's steepest cogwheel railway up to Mount Pilatus, where panoramic views spread out in all directions. Back in Lucerne, you can walk across the Chapel Bridge, a covered wooden bridge that has become a landmark of the city. There are also places in the Alps that are more hidden, like Valle Verzasca, a valley where emerald water flows under a stone bridge. You can swim in the natural pools or follow the river on a trail. In the Valais Canton, the historic Bissais run along the mountain sides. These old irrigation channels now serve as hiking paths, and the Bissais du Turon Neuf offers wooden walkways built along the rock face that make the experience exciting. Gelmersee is another spot worth seeing. To reach it, you take the Gelmerbahn, the steepest funicular in Europe. The ride itself is thrilling, and at the top, you'll find a turquoise lake surrounded by mountains. Nearby, Oceanensee, near Kandersteg, is often described as one of the most beautiful lakes in Switzerland. A cable car takes you close to the water, where you can hike or just pause to enjoy the setting. Lauterbrunnen Valley is another highlight that feels like its own world, with 72 waterfalls spilling from cliffs. Staubach Falls, one of the tallest free-falling waterfalls in the country, is especially striking, while the Trummelbach Falls gives you the rare chance to see glacier waterfalls flowing inside a mountain. Western Slovenia. Western Slovenia covers a wide range of scenery, giving you many ways to experience both nature and culture as you travel. Lake Bled often feels like the starting point, with the Julian Alps rising behind it. The small island in the middle of the glacial lake is home to a church that has stood for centuries. Taking a traditional Bledna boat across the water lets you reach the island and ring the bell inside the church. If you want a higher perspective, hiking up to Ojstrica gives you wide views of the surrounding area. Not far away, Postojna Cave shows you a different side of Slovenia. An underground train carries you through its large halls filled with stalactites and stalagmites. Close to the cave, Predjama Castle stands against a cliff with part of its structure built into the cave itself. Walking through its levels, you can see how it was once used as a fortress. Moving from caves to rivers, the Socha Valley stretches out with its bright green water. The Socha River flows through the valley, and you can raft or try canyoning for a more active experience. If you prefer to stay on land, following the riverside trails gives you time to take in the scenery of the valley. From the valley, you can continue toward the Adriatic Sea and reach Piran, a town shaped by its medieval history and Venetian style. Narrow streets wind between old stone houses, and the harbor opens to wide sea views. Back in the mountains, Triglav National Park offers a large area filled with peaks, rivers, and forests. At Vintgar Gorge, wooden walkways lead you along the Radovna River as it rushes through narrow cliffs and waterfalls. Lake Bohinj, found within the park, is larger than Bled and has fewer crowds, which makes it a peaceful place to spend time by the water. A cable car ride to Vogel takes you high above the lake, giving you open views of the Julian Alps. From here, you can also hike to Savica Waterfall, where water drops in a powerful stream into a basin below. High above the valleys, Velika Planina Plateau spreads out with wide meadows and traditional shepherd huts. During summer, herders bring cattle here, and you can walk between the huts. Another highlight underground is the Shotjan Caves. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is known for the Reka River that flows through the largest underground canyon in the world. Tolmin Gorge, also within the region, offers a smaller but less crowded option. Walking along the Tolminka River, you see moss-covered rock walls and suspension bridges that hang above the gorge. Amsterdam, Netherlands. Amsterdam feels like a city built on water, with canals weaving through it and bridges connecting one part to another. The narrow houses with their pointed rooftops are reminders of the city's golden age, and the streets along the canals carry both charm and history. A good starting point is the Rijksmuseum. Inside, you walk through tall halls filled with art that tells the story of centuries past. Paintings like Rembrandt's The Night Watch and Vermeer's The Milkmaid are some of the highlights. From there, you can make your way to the Van Gogh Museum. This museum holds the largest collection of his work in the world. Paintings such as Sunflowers and The Bedroom show his style in a way that feels direct and powerful. History comes into focus at the Anne Frank house. As you walk inside, you pass the bookcase that once hid the entrance to the secret annex. The rooms where Anne and her family lived are small and quiet, but they carry a powerful weight. The canals themselves are just as important to the experience of Amsterdam. Taking a boat ride allows you to see the city from the water, where the tall canal houses and arched bridges create a beautiful setting. When you want to pause from the busy streets, Vondelpark is the natural choice. This large green space gives you room to relax on the grass or rent a bike and ride along its paths. Moving back into the neighborhoods, the Jordan is one of the most enjoyable areas to explore. Its narrow streets and smaller canals are filled with small shops and galleries. Some of the most interesting places in Amsterdam are the ones tucked away, like the Begijnhof, a courtyard that has stood since the 14th century. It once housed a community of unmarried women, and today it still feels like a quiet escape. Here you'll also see the Huttenhuis, the oldest wooden house in Amsterdam. Another hidden spot is Our Lord in the Attic. At first, it looks like a regular canal house, but inside, you'll find a preserved secret church built across 3 attics during a time when Catholics could not worship openly. Climbing the narrow stairs and arriving at the small chapel makes the experience feel like uncovering a piece of history. For something completely different, you could take the free ferry from Central Station to NDSM Wharf. Once a shipyard, it's been turned into a space for art and creativity. Large murals cover the buildings, and inside you'll find studios and exhibitions. If you're seeking a quieter place, Hortus Botanicus is worth your time. It's one of the oldest botanical gardens in the world, dating back to the 1600s. Walking through its greenhouses, you'll see everything from tropical plants to tall palms. Then there's the catboat, known as De Puzenboot. Floating along the single canal, this houseboat is a shelter for stray and abandoned cats. You can step aboard to meet the cats, support the work of the sanctuary, and experience one of the most unusual stops in Amsterdam. Barcelona, Spain. Barcelona sits on Spain's northeastern coast, with the Mediterranean Sea stretching along one side and the Serra de Collsorella Mountains on the other. Over time, the city has grown into a center of creativity, trade, and everyday life. One of the first places that catches your attention is the Basilica de la Sagrada Familia. This masterpiece by Antoni Gaudí is still unfinished, yet it stands as one of the most striking buildings in the world. When you go inside, tall stone columns rise upward like trees, while stained glass windows fill the interior with colorful light. Not far from there, you can head to Park Güell, another creation by Gaudí. The park feels like an open-air museum filled with mosaics, curved benches, and stairways decorated with bright tiles. The famous lizard statue at the entrance greets you as you arrive, and from the park's higher points, you get wide views of Barcelona below. Moving from modern design to the city's older side, the Gothic Quarter takes you back in time. The narrow streets twist together, forming a maze of alleys and small squares. Here, you can pause at the Barcelona Cathedral with its impressive facade, or stop by the remnants of the old Roman walls. From the Gothic Quarter, you can reach La Rambla, one of the city's most famous streets. It can feel busy, but walking here is an experience on its own. Street performers draw crowds, and markets spill over with color and sound. At Mercat de la Boqueria, stalls offer fresh produce, seafood, and local snacks, giving you a taste of everyday Barcelona life. Heading upward, Montjuic Hill gives you both views and attractions. The cable car ride up the hill shows you the city from above, and once you arrive, you can explore several landmarks. Montjuic Castle stands as a reminder of the past, while the Olympic Stadium connects you to the city's more recent history. Art fans can spend time at the Joan Miró Foundation, while the botanical gardens nearby provide a quiet spot to walk. In the evening, the Magic Fountain Show combines water, music, and lights in a display that draws large crowds. If you want to escape the busiest areas, the Bunkers del Carmel is a good choice. This former defense site offers one of the best panoramic views of Barcelona, where many locals gather in the late afternoon. Another peaceful stop is Parc del Laberint d'Horta. This is the oldest garden in Barcelona, and a place where you can slow down. The hedge maze at its center is fun to walk through, and the fountains and sculptures add to the quiet atmosphere. You also have the chance to see the Recinte Modernista de Sant Pau, a site that often gets overlooked. Once a hospital, it's now recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its Catalan Art Nouveau design. The grounds are filled with pavilions decorated with mosaics and sculptures, and many of them are linked by underground passages. In the El Born neighborhood, you can spend time at the El Born Cultural and Memorial Center. This large building holds the remains of streets from the 18th century that were uncovered during excavation. Walking among these ruins gives you a look into a part of the city's past that isn't always told elsewhere. Even inside the lively Gothic Quarter, you can find quiet corners like Plaza de Sant Felip Neri, which is one of the most meaningful. The walls of the church here still show the marks from a bombing during the Spanish Civil War. The square is small and calm, with a fountain in the center, offering you a place to pause and reflect. Hallstatt, Austria. Hallstatt is a small village in Upper Austria, set along the shore of Lake Hallstatt, with the Dachstein Mountains rising behind it. Because the lake and mountains leave little space for expansion, the town feels compact, making it best explored on foot. The market square is the center of daily life in Hallstatt. Brightly painted buildings surround the square, and many of them hold restaurants and small artisan workshops. Sitting at an outdoor table gives you a good view of people moving through the square. Lake Hallstatt is one of the main highlights of the town. From the water, you get a striking view of the houses built against the mountain. Renting an electric boat or rowboat lets you move at your own pace. If you prefer a guided trip, larger boats run regular scenic tours, giving you another way to take in the village and the mountains around it. Up the mountain above the town, the Hallstatt salt mine shows how important salt has been to the area for thousands of years. This is considered the oldest salt mine in the world, and inside you slide down wooden miner slides, ride a small underground train, and walk past an underground salt lake. Close to the salt mine, you can reach the Hallstatt Skywalk, known as the World Heritage View. Standing high above the rooftops, you see the lake and the peaks stretching far into the distance. The platform gives you one of the best views of the entire region. Back in the center, the parish of the Assumption Catholic Church stands on a rocky rise overlooking the lake. Built in the 16th century, it remains a major landmark of the village, next to the Church of the Ossuary or Bone House, where skulls were carefully decorated with painted flowers and designs after being exhumed from the cemetery. If you want to learn more about the history of the village, the World Heritage Museum is located near the center. Inside, multimedia displays and artifacts connect what you see in the town today with the thousands of years that came before. Not far from the main streets, you can walk into the Eschern Valley. This area feels quieter than the village center, with trails leading past streams, waterfalls, and the glacier garden. Another spot that many people seek out is the postcard viewpoint. This is where you see the classic Hallstatt scene, often photographed around the world. Taking your time here lets you find the best angle and appreciate why this image has made the town so famous. There are also small details around the village that add to the experience. Along Seestrabe, a lakeside path, you come across a memorial to local residents who died in the World Wars. Santorini, Greece. Santorini is an island in the southern Aegean Sea, part of Greece's Cyclades group. Its crescent shape and steep cliffs were formed by a massive volcanic eruption long ago that left behind the caldera that you see today. When you arrive, the first thing that stands out is how the whitewashed towns cling to the cliffs above the deep blue water. Oia is the village that most people recognize, with its white houses and blue domed churches stacked along the cliffs. The narrow alleys lead you past small shops and quiet corners, but the highlight comes at sunset. Many gather at the old Byzantine castle ruins to see the sky change colors over the caldera. Once evening sets in, you can walk down to Amudi Bay at the foot of Oia. The steps are steep but rewarding, leading you to a small fishing port with clear water and a calm setting where you can also take a swim. When you head toward Fira, the capital, the energy changes as it's filled with shops and taverns. Beyond its lively streets, Fira offers history like the Museum of Prehistoric Thera, which holds artifacts from the Minoan settlement of Akrotiri. From the town center, you can take a cable car to the old port. At the port, you can catch a boat tour to see the island from the water, where the towns high above appear even more dramatic. On the southern side of Santorini, Akrotiri takes you deeper into history. Often called the Pompeii of Greece, the ancient town was covered in volcanic ash and left remarkably preserved. As you walk through the site, you see paved streets, multi-story houses, and everyday objects left behind thousands of years ago. Not far from here, you reach Red Beach with red cliffs and volcanic sand that create a sharp and striking scene. Moving away from the coast, Pirgos, a medieval village, offers a quieter experience. Standing at the highest point on the island, its narrow alleys twist upward toward churches and small squares, with views that open out across Santorini in every direction. If you continue further south, you reach the Akrotiri Lighthouse. This spot sits at the far tip of the island, with views here that are wide and clear, stretching across the caldera and out to the Aegean Sea. For a more adventurous stop, Skaros Rock, near Imerovigli, offers a challenging hike with rewarding views. Once the site of a Venetian fortress, today it stands as a viewpoint that looks out over the caldera and nearby islands. If you're seeking solitude, Columbus Beach on the northeast coast gives you exactly that. It is remote and untamed, with dark sand and pebbles shaped by the nearby underwater volcanic crater. The beach is simple and quiet, and far removed from the energy of the main towns. Lofoten Islands. The Lofoten Islands stretch out across the Norwegian Sea in northern Norway. The islands are defined by sharp mountains rising straight out of the water, narrow fjords, and small fishing villages scattered along the shore. When viewed from the mainland, the peaks line up to form what looks like a wall, which is why many call it the Lofoten Wall. One of the first places you may notice is the fishing village of Rien. Here, bright red and yellow rorbroer, or traditional fishermen's cabins, line the water with towering peaks behind them. Rania is often described as one of the most photographed spots in Norway. To see it from above, you can take the steep path up Reinebryggen, where the view of the fjords and mountains is unforgettable. Moving along, you come to Henningsvær, a village spread across small islands connected by bridges, giving it a unique charm. Art galleries and little shops fill the streets, making it a lively stop in Lofoten. The highlight here is the Henningsvær football pitch, a full-size soccer field built on its own rocky outcrop. Surrounded by water, it feels like one of the most unusual stadiums in the world. Nusfjord is another place that takes you back in time. It is one of the oldest and best preserved fishing villages in Norway. The area has been recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it also serves as an open-air museum, where you can learn about the fishing traditions that shape the islands. Not far away, you can explore the Lofoten Viking Museum in Borg. Here, you step inside a reconstructed Viking longhouse, the largest one ever found. Inside, you see how Vikings lived, cooked, and worked. The museum also features replica ships, artifacts, and stories from Norse folklore. From history, you move back into nature at Trollfjord. This fjord is narrow, with sheer rock walls towering above the water. Taking a boat trip through the fjord is one of the most dramatic experiences in the islands. The beaches of Lofoten may surprise you most, with white sand and turquoise water stretching out beneath snowy peaks, making them some of the most striking Arctic beaches in the world. Hogland and Utakliv are two of the most popular, and a hiking trail connects them if you want to see both in a single trip. Unstad Beach is different, known as a gathering place for Arctic surfers who take on the cold waves surrounded by mountains. Beyond these well-known areas, there are quieter spots that feel like hidden treasures, like Skrova Island, which is often called the Photo Island because it gets more sun than the rest of Lofoten. Farther south, Værøy and Ruslaten give you a more remote experience. Værøy is home to large puffin colonies and other seabirds that fill the cliffs, while Ruslaten is one of the best places in the islands to see the midnight sun during summer or the northern lights in winter. Hiking is one of the best ways to experience Lofoten, with trails like the Reinebryggen and Reiten being the most popular. There are plenty of quieter options like Hestriva, which offers peaceful views over Flakstadpollen Bay, while Munken provides a longer but rewarding hike where you see multiple fjords from one peak. If you're seeking a challenge, Hermendalstinden is the highest mountain on Monskenesøya and requires a multi-day trek. Plitvice Lakes National Park. Plitvice Lakes National Park in central Croatia is one of the most visited natural areas in the country. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the park is famous for its chain of 16 lakes connected by waterfalls and streams. When you enter from the main entrance, the first sight that often catches your attention is Veliki Slap, also known as the Great Waterfall. At over 200 feet tall, it's the highest waterfall in Croatia. You can view it from an observation deck above for a wide view, or walk down the wooden paths to the base where you can see the water up close. From here, the lower lakes stretch through a canyon lined with cliffs and filled with waterfalls. Walking on the boardwalks across the turquoise water lets you get close to the cascades and makes this area one of the most dramatic parts of the park. Moving upward, the upper lakes offer a different experience. These 12 lakes are larger and surrounded by forests, with calmer shores compared to the lower lakes. The paths here feel quieter, and the highlight is crossing Kozjak Lake, the biggest and deepest lake in the park. Spending time on Kozjak Lake gives you a break between hikes and allows you to enjoy the wide views of the forested hills around the water. Many longer trails in the park include the ferry ride across the lake, making it a natural stopping point during your visit. If you're looking for a more peaceful experience, the longer trails are the best choice, like Route K, which is a full-day hike that takes you deeper into the forest and lets you experience parts of the park that many never see. There's also a lesser-known viewpoint near the Great Waterfall that gives you a wide look at the entire Lower Lakes Canyon. By following old steps and a small side path, you can reach a spot that overlooks the lakes, boardwalks, and cliffs all at once. It's one of the best views of the park and is often missed by many people. If you're looking for any tips to enhance your own personal travel and help you manage your travel budget more effectively, click the link in the description. And remember to like and subscribe to help our channel grow.